Let's cross to Rome. Alberto Castelvecchi is a professor of public communications at Luis University in the Italian capital. Thank you for speaking with us here on France 24. They said it couldn't be done, yet here we are talking about this new coalition in Italy. Are you surprised that it's all gone to plan?
Well, everybody was expecting because, one characteristic of Italian politics is to make the impossible possible and the implausible plausible. And one reason why many observers, both in Italy and abroad, welcome this new government coalition is just because of what you heard from your correspondent in London. Everybody's afraid of turmoil in Europe, which would be so deep if there is a hard Brexit. So at least the southern flank of Europe is at the moment, I don't say it's completely peaceful, but it's in some way it's peace. It's in order, and there is no conflict with Europe coming from Rome because this government is promising to bring the terms to an end with Europe and to try to remain within the budget deficit indications given by Brussels and the Parliament in Strasbourg. And this is good news for Europe. So we're not astonished, but we're very curious to see what will happen in the next weeks, to see if it will be possible really to make this strange formula, 5 stars plus Democratic Party, workable and actionable. This is what everybody is wondering about tonight.
And arguably the most powerful portfolio, that of economics and finance, going to a member of the European Parliament, Roberto Galtieri, who is a member of the Democratic Party, the center-left mainstream party, everything that's anathema to a lot of 5-star supporters.
Yes, but they had to accept it. And after all, Gualtieri is an historian, a humanist, a gentleman. It is not exactly the Euro bureaucrat or the banker you would expect. So maybe this is what made acceptable his name. And then you have to consider one thing. We have a technical cabinet at the Ministry of Finance here in Rome, which is very, very strong. So they can manage the everyday technical problems and feasibility of the finance budget of the state, while Galtieri is expected to give political directions. So even if it's an expected name, they will have to accept it. And he's an historian, and you need sense of history today to understand why you need European integration. This is more or less the sense of the whole thing.
But both the PD and the 5-star movement are promising growth and sound fiscal management at the same time. There's going to be pain, isn't there?
Well, yes, there's going to be pain, but not so much that the public opinion will not accept it. And then consider that even if he's been ousted from the government, Matteo Salvini, with his right movement, Lega, will try to resist in any way any possible strong measures in terms of fiscal deficit and fiscal, especially the tax measures, because Salvini has always been promising that would he be prime minister, he would cut taxes. So this new government will have to show that it's not the government of new taxes. And this will be a very hard exercise because, as you know, we have a terrible public debt, which indeed would request some new taxes in order to put the balance in order.
Our Rome correspondent saying there's a little bit of outrage, Alberto Castelvecchi, over the nomination of the leader of the 5-star movement, Luigi DeMaio, as new foreign minister, saying he's the wrong man for that job. Do you agree with that?
Well, this is something which has been said so many times to so many ministers here in Italy. This has been indeed a smart move by Luigi DeMaio, who was risking to be put in a second position because his position of leadership has been criticized in the 5-Stars movement. He wanted to take the foreign ministers because the foreign ministry, because he noticed that Mr. Giuseppe Conte became so famous in Europe and be so famous in the USA because of going abroad, and his name will come second after Giuseppe Conte in Europe and abroad. So this was a smart move. But yes, this is a very delicate and technical ministry. It's not so easy because we have many, many international crises at the doors of Italy. Libya, for example, is a very hard dossier to be managed. So we will wait and see. But at the same moment, I have to say that exactly is that with finance minister, we have a very strong staff at the Ministry of Exterior Affairs, and the General Secretary Elisabetta Belloni is definitely a very strong woman. So they will try to manage the day-to-day, and Mr. DeMaio will have to strengthen his leadership, which is weakened at the moment.
Alberto Castelvecchi, many thanks for speaking to us from Rome.
Instead.